Simon, I have to say, I'm not biting at Martin on this one. I'm coming back on you. Do you think that you went a bit too far earlier in the week, and you qualified it there when you said that there was an element of what did you say about Harry Kane bottling it? There was an element.
What I said was my first
in the Harry Kane penalty.
What I said was I was at a function on Saturday night watching the game with a group of people that were invested in football but not particularly football people, and my first reaction to Harry Kane was to give him an element of dispensation. And the more I listened to them about the reality of what professional footballers have to do, how well they're paid, what the opportunities are, and here comes the moment, you've got to take it, you've got to score, I did move back into the camp of saying, well, if you succumb to the pressure, which I think Harry Kane did, because the goalkeeper didn't save the ball, Harry Kane put the ball over the bar, then there is an element of succumbing to the pressure, which then moves into the territory of saying, you've bottled it a little bit. Now, people don't like that terminology in the same way that if you call a footballer a cheat, they'll get most offended by it because it's a terminology that you can't use. But I do think if succumbing to the pressure is what you've done, then there's an element of you've lost your bottle at that particular moment. And it doesn't make you a bottler per se. It means in that moment, you were beaten by the circumstances because the goalkeeper didn't save it. Harry Kane put the ball 55 feet over the bar.
Is this an attempt to almost apologise?
I'm not apologising.
He didn't say the word bottle it, yeah? Is that right? Or
I said there's an element of bottling about it, yeah.
An element, okay,
yeah.
all right. So you didn't say directly that he bottled it? Okay.
I just gave you the context in what I said it.
Yeah,
yeah.
Okay.
I think there's an element he bottled it, yeah.
If you replace the word bottle with nerve, he lost for a moment.
He lost his nerve.
I think
which is by definition bottling it.
I think all he was guilty of was putting too much on the ball, Jim. He looked at his teammate. I don't know whether he takes penalties against him in training. I'm told it was maybe the second or third goalkeeper he did that against. He'd obviously put it into his favourite corner for the first one, and he was looking into the eyes of the goalkeeper, his colleague at his football club, and he thought, okay, I'm going to go the same area. You know I'm doing that, but I'm going to put a bit more power on it. And he overcooked it, Jim. As simple as that. Just he got it wrong. And that's all he was guilty of. I don't see he was bottling it. If he was bottling it, he wouldn't have gone up there in the first place, and he wouldn't have taken even the first one. So to say he's bottling it is completely out of line.
But psychologically, he beat himself. He overthought it. And there is an element of mental... mental.
It's the 84th minute of the game, Simon.
Listen, I am not suggesting that there isn't an inordinate amount of pressure, but that's the reasons why Harry Kane is in the position that he's in, because he's able to withstand that level of pressure.
Yeah,
that's what comes out of the leadership of men, and people make mistakes. I'm not castigating for it, but I'm calling it for what it is. You didn't have a goalkeeper perform a wonderful save. You didn't ask the goalkeeper to do anything. You stepped up and blasted a penalty over the bar because the challenge that was in front of you overcame you. Now, we can dress it up in which way you want. The amount of mistakes I've made in my life, and some of them because I haven't made a decision, and I would question myself about my own bravery at certain times, so I hold myself by the same standard. But if it's in his hands, and psychologically he overthought the penalty, whether he was conscious of the guy he was playing alongside on a weekly basis, whether the circumstances themselves got the better of him, whether the whole dynamic of it, and I'm not suggesting it's easy, but if it was easy, Martin, everyone would be a bleeding footballer getting paid for £100,000 a week,
but I don't think he deserves
to
be called a bottler when he steps up in that moment, the weight of a nation on his shoulders. He's thinking about putting the ball back in.
Would you accept, Martin, that for a moment he lost his nerve?
No, not at all. Not at all. He just got it wrong technically. He just put too much power on it.
Got it wrong technically.
Okay.
Many messages coming in this morning. We're going to take a couple of calls as well. There's so many calls coming in, but we'll select two in a second. Joe from Sunderland, I'd love this message to be read out. Southgate's had 3 major tournaments. We haven't won anything. We only beat teams, as Simon says, that we would expect to beat. It seems to me it's time up. And there's another one. Gareth has created a harmonious team. We should keep him. Things are good. Anyone else coming in at this particular time would disrupt everything we have built. So there's an element of balance here, and we're all about balance.